So we take underrepresented and gender. You got to move both forward by a percentage. That leads to a plus on your bonus. By the way, if you lose part of your bonus. I'm not trying to finesse this. So for blacks, we should try to get towards 13 point something percent. On Hispanics, you got to get into the mid-teens. So let me say it. Asians in the US are not an underrepresented minority in a tech company.
James O'Keefe here outside of IBM's corporate headquarters in Armonk, New York. An IBM insider has provided us with an internal video showing the CEO of IBM, Arvind Krishna, using coercion to fire people and take away their bonuses unless they discriminate in the hiring process.
Let me go deeper into Red Hat. Multiple leaders over the last year plus that were held accountable to the point that they're no longer here at Red Hat because they weren't willing to live up to the standards that we set in this space. This conversation takes place every single day, and a lot of it's behind the scenes.
They terminated executives that didn't discriminate, yet another violation of Title VII. One of the biggest companies in the world, one of the most valuable and recognizable brands on earth. IBM Insider has provided us with an internal video showing the CEO of IBM, Arvind Krishna, using coercion to fire people and take away their bonuses unless they discriminate in the hiring process, which appears to be a violation of Title VII. This comes on the heels of IBM pulling advertising from Elon Musk's X, with IBM saying they have zero tolerance for discrimination. Quote, IBM has zero tolerance for discrimination, and we've immediately suspended all advertising on X while we investigate.
So let me add a couple of things with a Red Hat flavor on it. I think Arvind laid that out pretty well, but let me go deeper into Red Hat. And as Arvind very much pointed out, and I very much understand, I am accountable. I hold myself accountable. He holds me accountable, as does the board for all of IBM. But we also hold the leadership at Red Hat accountable for that. I mean, I'll be very candid. Without an exception for privacy, I could name multiple leaders over the last year plus that were held accountable to the point that they're no longer here at Red Hat because they weren't willing to live up to the standards that we set in this space. And so, as I said, I'm accountable to Arvind on this as well as to IBM. For example, one of the changes I made, I named a D&I lead person in Margaret reporting directly to me and the CLT. Margaret sits on the CLT as the D&I functions, and this is worked on every single one of our meetings. This conversation takes place every single day, and a lot of it's behind the scenes, but let me assure you this is happening. We're never going to cross the DEI off our list of priorities. This is an ongoing thing.
That was Paul Kernier, CEO of Red Hat, which is a software company owned by IBM, saying that they terminated executives that didn't discriminate, yet another violation of Title VII.
So we take underrepresented and gender. You got to move both forward by a percentage. That leads to a plus on your bonus. By the way, if you lose part of your bonus. Paul's held to the same standards. Paul and I have been working together to say, okay, how do we apply those deeper into the organization?
That was the head of IBM saying he's going to reduce the bonus if you don't hit your racial quotas. Arvind Krishna is using racial considerations in making the work environments diverse and doing so coercively by placing burdens on employees to do so, like the removal of bonus or termination. That's also a violation of Title VII.
I'm very clear about this. I expect at the executive level, so that is not just my directs, but all executives in the company have to move forward by 1% on both underrepresented minorities. So let me say it, Asians in the US are not an underrepresented minority in a tech company. However, others are. Ditto on gender diversity.
Now, at least 13 state attorney generals have put companies on notice that they should not be using racial discrimination in the hiring process. These attorney generals include Kansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Indiana, Nebraska, Iowa, South Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana. Paul Kernier did not disclose the names of his employees that were terminated, but we at OMG welcome you, if you have been fired, to reach out to us on our tip line, contact us on our website or on Signal. We'd like to speak to you. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 states it shall be unlawful employment practice for an employer to fail or refuse to hire or discharge any individual or otherwise to discriminate any individual with respect to his compensation, terms, conditions, or privileges of employment because of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. In terms of national origin of the Civil Rights Act, the CEO of IBM, Arvind Krishna, also specifically targeting Asians in this private leak recording.
Well, let me say it. Asians in the US are not an underrepresented minority in a tech company.
This recording comes in the context of DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Allison Showalter is on this private leaked video inside IBM talking about DEI.
Our last question is about diversity, equity, and inclusion. IBM highlights their progress in promoting and recruiting underrepresented minorities in executive roles and holding executives accountable for D&I goals. At Red Hat, executive representation is dismal and there is no accountability for DEI work.
Elon Musk has just come out against DEI and quotas last week. We've reached out to Elon Musk for comment, Allison for comment, Krishna for comment, and Paul for comment.
IBM Security.
Hey there. This is James O'Keefe with OMG News, looking to talk to the CEO of IBM.
Do you have an appointment?
I do not.
Does anybody know that you're coming?
Possibly. Possibly. Depends upon how much I'm surveilled, which the likelihood of that is quite high. But is there a possibility we could speak with Krishna today?
You would have to make an appointment before that.
Elon Musk joining the cause to abolish DEI, consistently critical of programs like this. IBM canceling their advertising on a list of companies that includes Disney. Now, some more context here. This video is from 2021, but we just obtained it last week from an insider, a whistleblower inside IBM. IBM, one of the biggest companies in the world, here in Westchester, New York, at their corporate headquarters just outside New York City. One of the most valuable and recognizable brands on earth. IBM is one of the 30 companies indexed in the Dow Jones, one of the main indicators of the health of U.S. and global stock markets. This is James O'Keefe in Westchester County, New York, reporting for OMG News.